Hello friends, today I thought I would make a dopamine menu in my junk journal. This is something that I've heard about for like a long time, like having a dopamine menu, and for some reason it didn't occur to me to actually like write one down and put one in my junk journal until today, so I did it immediately and filmed the process, and I thought I would share that process with you and also talk a little bit about the things that are on my dopamine menu. So I'm also curious, as you watch, I would love to hear in the comments below, what are some things that are on your dopamine menu? Because I'm always looking for more ideas and more interests and hobbies to get into. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, what are the things on your dopamine menu? Did you get any new ideas from this video? And I am excited to hear from you, so let's get started. Hello friends, it's Vervain. Here we are today about to make a dopamine menu in my junk journal. And as it happens, junk journaling is one of the top things on my dopamine menu. So like I said, I had never thought to actually like put a physical dopamine menu in my physical junk journal until today. And I was specifically inspired by a YouTuber by the name of Cindriana, who had a video called, I think it was called Creating or like Making a Dopamine Menu to End My Doom Scrolling or something like that. I will link that video in the description below so that you can go watch that video also if you want more dopamine menu inspiration. So also, I didn't put this on my dopamine menu, but honestly, just like flipping through my junk journal could count as a thing on my dopamine menu. I love flipping through and just looking at the pages, even the pages that I haven't like worked on yet. I pick out beautiful papers to build my junk journals. And so my junk journals end up being beautiful things that I love to look at. Like every single individual paper that I use to make my journals is something that I love and love to look at and love to touch. So even when I don't have time to like really sit down and work in my junk journal, okay, so let's talk about what's happening here actually. And this was inspired by Cindriana, who did, I think it was the same 4 courses. I can't remember exactly, but I liked this course setup, and so I borrowed it. So the menu is divided into 4 courses. We have appetizers, mains, sides, and desserts. And the appetizers are like things that you can do pretty quick, like 5 to 15 minutes, I feel like. And the mains are things that are gonna take a little more time. It's not something that you can just do, real quick. But it's something that you kind of have to set aside a little time for, or like find a larger chunk of time for. And then sides are things that I can do while I'm doing something else. And then desserts are things that do make me happy, but that it would not be good for me to do every day, all the time, for one reason or another. Spoiler alert, there are some shopping items on the desserts list. Okay, so this is very exciting, guys. I don't know if you saw one of my recent junk journal with me videos where I was talking about how I really wanted a new storage solution for my ransom note letters. Well, I got one. I got this box at Home Depot, and it only has 10 little compartments, and then it has 3 big compartments. So I kind of split it up into like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I was just going to give you a couple examples, but instead I gave you how I split up the whole alphabet. So there you go. And then the 3 bigger compartments, I think I have one for like punctuation right now. I have one where I'm keeping like some whole words that I didn't want to cut up because I thought, oh, I might actually want to use that word or that phrase just the way that it is, or I might want to cut it up. And then this here is how I was keeping all of my letters before, so I just haven't moved them all over. The only ones that I moved over were like the ones that I had out from working the other day, and then I like cut up a couple more last night, but then I went to bed. So I still have a bunch of letters stored in this little box here. And I feel like when you do, ransom note style letters, it's important to me when I do ransom style letters, it's important to me, not just to have like the right letter, but also, you have to have letters in the right size to fit in the space that you are trying to fill. And also, I feel like you can't have like too many white background letters next to each other. You've got to have like a nice distribution of backgrounds, and you've got to have like roughly matching letter sizes, unless you want to have like a big capital at the beginning of a word or whatever, And there are exceptions to this, but it's not as simple as just like, okay, well, pull out the first D, the first O, the first P, etc. that I find. You got to find the right one. So I spent kind of a long time trying to find the right one to write out dopamine menu at the top. Not the right one, the right ones, because there's a lot of letters in there. There's how many letters? 12 letters, I think. So yeah, it took me a minute to pick those out. And I should probably share with you now about what are the things that I put on my dopamine menu, but I can't see it in this part of the video, and I didn't bring my journal with me. So allow me, if you will, to go get my journal, and I will return in just a moment with the rest of this voiceover for your listening pleasure. Okay, I have returned with my journal and the list of things that I put on my dopamine menu. Also, the app that I use to edit my videos recently came out with a feature that like removes the silences from when I'm talking, and I'm trying that feature out today. So let me know what you think of it. I've noticed so far there's been like a couple words where it like slightly cut off the end, and it definitely does make it more fast-paced. I know some people prefer that because I waste less of your time that way, but some people might prefer a slightly calmer, gentler, more reasonably paced monologue. So you let me know what you think of the way that the audio is in this video, and maybe I will take that into consideration for future videos. Okay, so appetizers, which is the ones that can be done really quickly. And there's some things that I probably could have put on. Like I put junk journal on mains, and I really thought about it because obviously like when I sit down to do a whole page like this, that is a main. But also sometimes I can just go into my Imaginarium and like glue one piece of paper to another piece of paper, and that is a nice little dopamine release. That feels good. I didn't put that on appetizers because I didn't have room to write as many things as I wanted. So here's what I did put. My first one for appetizers: go outside, porch swing, etc. Going outside is good. I do not feel that this requires further explanation. My second item for appetizers: play guitar, even just one song. Crochet, even just a few stitches. Make a list. I always love a good list. Who doesn't love a good list? Snuggle Rosemary, my little baby, or look at baby photos. Smell some oils. Always good to smell some oils or roll some on. I am currently actually wearing my signature blend of rose, vanilla, and frankincense, which smells friggin' amazing. So there you go. Divination, just a quick reading. This was another one of those that like I probably should have put divination on mains, because like it's really best if I can not just like pull the card, but also journal about, like not just like pull a card, but like actually do like a proper reading and actually like journal about it and stuff. But I compromised by putting junk journal on mains, and I put divination on appetizers because it's true, I can just pull a quick card if I want to, and sometimes that's nice. And then I put text or call a friend, and I put read poetry. So those are my appetizers. And then for my mains, I put, and these are in kind of a weird order because the things that I wrote last are actually at the top, because everything is just kind of jammed together in here so that it can fit. So I have cast a spell, go for a walk. Our neighborhood is we live like near a kind of historical area. So like my specific block that I live on isn't necessarily super, super cute, but we do not have to walk very far to end up in a super, super cute neighborhood. And I just love looking at cute houses and cute gardens and appreciating cute architecture and talking to my baby about how cute a house is and how cute a house would be if they just fixed it up. And it does make me a little bit sad to think about the fact that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of overlap between people who appreciate cute old architecture and people who can afford to take care of it and restore it. And also, here's my pitch, okay? I want my own HGTV show, and the whole idea is that very rich donors donate to preserve historical architecture and old world charm in America. So in like small town America. So we go around to houses that have like beautiful bones and beautiful like antique charm but are kind of falling apart, and like the owner obviously can't afford to fix it and take care of it properly, and we fix it up for them. And we bring in like beautiful like experts at like woodwork restoration and like people who are really good at doing things the old way or at doing things in a new way that looks like the old way and that will last and will stand up to the test of time. This is my concept. I want to host this TV show, and I have a number of houses in my neighborhood that we can work on first if the owners are okay with it. Oh my God, I love a good roof pitch, okay? I love a good roof pitch, and there's this one house in my neighborhood that has, on two different sides of the house, two different beautiful storybook roof lines, like super high pitched, concave roof lines, and I'm just so into it, but the house is just like apart, and it makes me so sad. Okay, however, going for a walk and looking at cute houses in the neighborhood and getting moving and taking my baby out in the stroller, that is an item on the dopamine menu, even though seeing the houses falling apart makes me sad. Because also seeing gardens and wildflowers and things makes me happy. So, okay, that was a long detour, but that's okay. Comment below if you would watch that TV show, and also what should it be called? Okay, mains. Continuing on the mains, we have junk journal. Write a song different from play guitar, right? Because you can play guitar, even just one song. That's what I wrote under appetizers. You don't have to have very much time at all to just play a song on the guitar, even if you have to tune your guitar first. But writing a song, you really got to get alone time. You really got to be able to be alone with your thoughts for a long time and be alone with the noise that you're making for a long time and be able to experiment. And you really have to like be alone too, because I do not write in front of people. That's for me and my brain and my ears, and that's it. This was so fun. Also, like I mentioned that like going through my own junk journals is a dopamine item. And there's so many things I didn't put on here, right? Like going through art books, looking at art could totally be on here, and maybe I'll squeeze it in here somewhere. But like the part of the, like I could cut out the part where of the video, like I could cut out that whole part where I'm like flipping through that book looking for just the right image. But I feel like if you're watching this channel, probably you have this in common with me, that just looking through that book of old engravings of beautiful images of women is a dopamine hit, and I will look through that book, the whole book, every time. Yeah, and I love this little image that I picked out. It's not that she's necessarily like illustrating. Oh my God, I just realized there's like a bunch of things that I was thinking about yesterday or this morning or what, like when I saw the video, I thought about, oh, I should put those things on my dopamine menu, and I totally didn't. And the things that I was thinking about putting on here was like, and maybe I should put this on desserts. I don't know. Like a bath, okay? Not a shower, a bath with like you do the shower scrub first, and then you sit in the bath with the essential oils, and maybe you light a candle, and maybe you put some flower petals in there, and maybe you play some music, and then you sit in there for like a long ass time until you're friggin' done, until you're raisin. I should put a bath on here. That would be good. Ooh, I should put light a candle on sides, but I have a baby. I didn't have a baby before. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. I feel like the long pauses in what I'm saying are a little bit important to garner the meaning of what I'm saying. So, just know, because my video editing app is going to cut out the long pauses, that there are some long pauses here where I'm processing my own thoughts. Okay, mains, write a song. Prep for D&D, okay? I'm running a D&D campaign, and I'm dreaming of future D&D campaigns, because I'm running a D&D campaign that is set in our world. It's set in our real world, but magic has come back to our world, and it is up to my players to figure out why that is and what needs to be done about it, all while solving puzzles and fighting monsters, okay? But also, I like world building, and I kind of started running this campaign by accident because I was trying to practice DMing for the future when I would want to DM for other people that weren't my husband, and my husband wasn't like super into the idea of playing D&D, so I was like, I would love to run a one-shot for you, and I'll make it easy for you. You can play yourself, and it takes place here, so you don't have to like buy into a whole bunch of lore and like character creation and stuff, you know? You're just like, you're you know, your pocket knife is a sword, let's go. So I'm running that campaign, but I'm also like writing a lot of world building stuff for a future campaign that I'd like to have take place in a different world. And also I think it would be fun if in this campaign, my characters like plane shifted accidentally into this other world that I've created just for a little mini adventure or two. So anyhow, prepping for D&D, that is something that takes a lot of time. So it's definitely on mains, but it is also very fun and very rewarding. Paint something. Love painting. And I put paint something instead of just paint because I feel like when I see the word just like paint, I think of like painting a picture on canvas or on watercolor paper or whatever. But when I put paint something, I remember that like, oh yeah, you can also paint furniture. You can also paint walls. You can also paint shoes. You can also paint purses. You know, there's all sorts of things you can paint on. So paint something. Sewing project. I have so many sewing projects that I want to do. Gung Fu Cha, which is Chinese style of pouring tea. If you go way back in my video history, like my videos on YouTube, you can find probably still some videos of me pouring tea and talking about Gung Fu Cha. I love Gung Fu Cha. I haven't poured it in a while because it's just really hard to sit down and do anything that takes a long time when you have a baby. But I love Gong Fu Cha and I have so much nice tea. Fortunately, pretty much every kind of tea except for green tea gets better with age. So while I'm running around supervising my baby, unable to pour tea, my tea is actually just like aging and getting better and more valuable. So that's kind of exciting. But also, I do like drinking it. So Gong Fu Cha. Film a video. That's definitely a main. That takes a while. It takes some prep. It takes some doing. But I always feel really good once I've done it. Go for a walk. I already talked about that one. Work in the garden. That's a really good one. And I technically can do like a little tiny bit of garden work in just like 5 minutes or whatever. But I feel like that counts under the go outside umbrella. Working in the garden, you know, it feels really good to get like some proper garden work done in a nice half-hour chunk or so. Wildlife photography. And that's cool if you like go out in the wild, but also like we live on 2 acres here and we have so many birds and occasionally bunnies. And oh my God, I got the greatest picture of a cardinal this morning. We have so many cardinals. But those fuckers are fast, okay? So I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to photograph a cardinal, and I still haven't gotten a blue jay, by the way, which we also have a ton of. So for the last couple weeks, for the last couple months, I've been working on identifying the bird calls at my home with the Merlin bird call app or the Merlin bird app. It's called Merlin. I don't know. It's a great app. It's so cool. It's seriously so cool. And then for the last couple weeks, I like got my camera out because my camera has like a telephoto lens with like a 50 times optical zoom, which is ridiculous. I literally got it because I wanted to be able to take cool pictures of the moon. That's me. Buying a camera based on one stat, the ability to take good pictures of the moon. However, it turns out it's also really good at taking pretty great pictures of birds and butterflies and stuff from pretty far away, like far enough away that you're not bothering the bird or the butterfly or the bunny, as the case may be, and you can still get a good picture of them. So I've been trying for a couple weeks to photograph the various birds that I know that we have here from all this bird call identification, and also sometimes I see them. But seeing a bird and photographing a bird are not the same thing. So I've been trying to get photos of all of the wildlife that we have here, and I got the greatest a picture of a cardinal this morning, and I'm so excited about it. And maybe I will remember to insert some photos of stuff here, or maybe I won't because they're still on my camera. And I haven't transferred any of them to any other devices. And I would have to literally transfer it like from my camera to my computer to my phone. And that sounds like a lot. So I don't know. I don't know if you'll actually get any photos of birds in this video. Sorry for getting your hopes up. Okay, wildlife photography. Very fun, very exciting. Really just means like a walk in my backyard with my camera. Read a book. Read a book is definitely a main. You cannot, I mean, you can sit down and like read a couple words of a book in less than half an hour, but can you get dopamine from reading a couple words of a book in just a couple minutes? I don't know. I think it can be pretty unsatisfying to sit down to read and then you have to get up and go do other stuff, but like right before you even get into it or right as you're getting into it. So I put that under mains. I put get properly dressed under mains. Okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and there's getting dressed, and then there's getting dressed, okay? And I love fashion. I love getting properly dressed. But when a little milk munchkin needs constant 24/7 access to my boobs, and I live in Texas and it's hot as fuck, and I'm not going anywhere, and I might be like working out in the garden or whatever, like, you know, it's kind of hard to want to like get nicely, properly dressed. That said, I do feel good when I get properly dressed. Sometimes I also just feel silly because then I immediately have to take it off for whatever reason. So that's why that's on like mains instead of appetizers or instead of just being like part of my daily routine. Welcome to mom life. Okay, photo shoot. Photo shoot's very fun. Love doing a good photo shoot. Whether it's photographing my baby or myself or something else, I put that on there. Okay. Craft project, that could be literally anything, and I don't feel like going into detail on that right now. Just use your imagination. And then I thought about this one really hard, whether or not I should put this one on here, but I put declutter something on the mains list. And the reason I almost didn't put it on here is because like that's work, right? Like that's not fun. Decluttering is not fun. That's work. That's a chore. Except that actually a lot of times I am like overwhelmed by clutter, and when I take the 5 to 30 minutes to declutter a particular area of my life, afterwards I feel really good. And even just like beginning to address an area of clutter like clears the anxiety that builds up from like not looking at the area of clutter. So anyhow, I deliberated and I decided that declutter something did belong on my dopamine menu. So there it is. Okay, sides. These are things that I can do while I am doing some of these other things, or while I'm doing all number of other things. It doesn't have to be dopamine menu things. I put cup of tea, and that could include either like just like a tea bag tea or like making a proper pot of English tea. Or one of my favorite things recently, now that I have an herb garden, is to go out into my herb garden and just pick a couple herbs and brew that up in a mug. And that is just so fun and delicious and such a beautiful way to connect to nature and the earth and the land on which I live and the plants that I'm growing. My favorite combo lately has been a bunch of lemon balm and then a bunch of like spearmint and or peppermint, just depending on what looks good, and some rose petals. And those 3 or 4 things together is so good. I could drink that every day for the rest of my life. I would still want to drink other things also, but I could drink that every day for the rest of my life. Okay. Listen to music, always a good one. Be outside. Different from go outside, because you can just like go outside just to like get some fresh air, take some deep breaths, touch grass, you know? But then you can be outside, like you can do some of these other things, like you can crochet and be outside. You can make a list and be outside. You can write a song or play guitar and be outside while you do it, you know? So there's that. Okay, audiobook, listen to an audiobook. That's always a good one. Also, I just did a video, Junk Journal with me, about like the books that I've read so far in 2025. And that is a different, I'll link that one down below because that's a good one. It's probably the previous episode in this series, actually. So if this is episode like 13, I think that was episode 12. So go check that out. Also, audiobooks are fantastic. If you have not used Audible before, I will pop my Audible affiliate link down in the description below and you can go try it out and thank me later. Okay, and then kind of on the same like audiobook train is like Critical Role or Dimension 20. Love me some Critical Role or Dimension 20. And that's actually the reason that I have not listened to more audiobooks than I have. I feel like I should be able to mark off Critical Role on my Goodreads. Like the fact that I finished listening to, well, I guess I haven't, okay, I've only finished campaign 1, but I'm like halfway through both of the other campaigns. And I feel like I should be able to track that on Goodreads, but Goodreads is like, that's not an audiobook. That's you listening to people play Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, fine. It's on my dopamine menu. And then YouTube/podcasts. Not all YouTube videos can be enjoyed as sides, but a lot of them can, so they're on there. After I filmed, I also went back and later added start a diffuser to sides because everything is better. Everything, especially like if you're indoors, everything is better with a diffuser going. And I have so many wonderful, lovely oils that smell so good and that just lift the mood so beautifully. That train sounds like a haunted house on wheels. Sorry. But yeah, anyhow, so start a diffuser. And then desserts, these are the ones that it's like, they definitely belong in the dopamine, but also I can't just be picking desserts off the dopamine menu every damn day. We can't be living like that. So there's go thrifting. Very good one. Very good. Go thrifting. You can include antique in that as well. And then I put basket case, get ready with me. This is a type of reel that I was filming for a while, where I would draw a card from my basket case deck, which if you don't know what my basket case deck is, I'll link a video about that down below. It's basically a basket full of orphan cards from a bunch of different tarot and oracle decks, and also just like other random pieces of paper that kind of work as oracle cards. And I would pull a card from the basket case and then both kind of like do a reading for the day from that card and use that card as inspiration for my outfit of the day and doing like a little get ready with me. And I would film this as a reel, and 1, they were like a hit on my Instagram, and 2, it was so fun. I had so much fun doing that. And the reason I don't do these more often is because that includes getting properly dressed and filming a video. And that's like 2 things that are on my mains list. So like getting properly dressed is already a lot. And then when you have to film getting properly dressed and do a tarot reading, which is also on the appetizer, it's actually 3 things from my dopamine menu are all included in this basket case get ready with me. So it's a great thing to do. I love doing it, but it takes a lot more time than just getting dressed. And a lot of times, baby, that's all I have to say. Baby. Okay. Okay. Cook or bake something fancy. That's not actually what I wrote. I actually wrote cook of bake something fancy. So please forgive my writing mistake. And then I put buy a plant and buy project supplies. My favorite thing, buying project supplies. It's like all the dopamine of like thinking about and envisioning a project that could be done without having to do any of the work of actually doing it. That's why it's a dessert, is because you can buy infinite project supplies and get dopamine hits just from doing that without ever doing any projects. And that is not a healthy way to live, Vervain. Okay, I'm talking to myself. If you're doing this too, maybe you also need to hear that. Okay, anyhow, that's everything that's on my list. I love the way that this page turned out. I love using these are the Ranger archival inks, and I absolutely love them. I think it's like evergreen forest or something in the background. I don't know, you probably saw them. If you didn't, you can ask me what they were and I'll look it up. There's like a yellow, an orange, a red, and a blue. Okay, and that stencil, the flower stencil that I used on the right page, that is like if I had to only have one stencil ever for the rest of my life for all of my crafting, it would be that floral stencil. Okay, that's all I have to say about this. Thanks for watching. I really enjoyed spending this time with you. Like I said, junk journaling is on my dopamine menu. Making a video is on my dopamine menu. I should put just like chatting to the faceless internet for 30 minutes on my dopamine menu, but that's like the same thing as making a video. So anyhow, thanks for being here with me. Let me know down in the comments what's on your dopamine menu. Do you have a dopamine menu in your junk journal? journal? Do you even junk journal? Yeah, I'm just curious. What's on your dopamine menu? Anything that I didn't put on mine that I maybe should consider putting on mine? Anything that I did put on mine that you're also into? I'd be very curious to know. Or is there anything that I put on mine that you don't do yet that now you're like, I gotta do that? For example, download yourself the Merlin Bird app and also get you an Audible subscription and then thank me later. All right, check out the links below. If you are still here, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't pretend that you listened this long and didn't like it, okay? If you're still here in the video, you liked the video, so give it a little thumbs up, click it. And if you're still here and you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe. Obviously, you've enjoyed hanging out with me for this half hour, so go ahead and hit subscribe and we'll hang out again soon. It'll be great. Everyone will have fun. Okay, love you. Bye. See you around. Mwah.